Hello. This video is for Mineralocity aggregate users seeking to get a better understanding and functionality for the overall crushed stone market potential layer and seeing the data tied to it. You can turn on this layer, which shows you the overall crushed stone market potential graded across the contiguous 48 states. But when you go ahead and click on this layer, you'll notice that there's no feature pop-up information. To allow for better functionality, we've compartmentalized all of the data to the relevant state as you see down here. Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, and so on for all the other contiguous 48 states we currently have. As you can see here, this data does not render until you zoom into a particular level. So with this layer, you can use to basically hone in on areas of interest that you want to look at for market potential. By zooming into a particular range, you can then turn on a particular state and click on the information or click on the layer so you can see the pop-up information. Sometimes there will be a loading icon in the top left-hand corner to indicate when the layers that you've turned on are sufficiently loaded. So with having this layer, we've now found a location, and now with this layer on for the relevant state, we can see the underlying data, which is reported here. So for this particular spot, we interpret the market to have this much tonnage in supply as well as this much tonnage in demand for the relative market we believe is tied to this given location. You also get the geologic information tied to it as well as the aggregate production from the producers that share that same geologic body and all known federal land designated areas as well as state, forest, and regional boundaries that do pertain to that spot as well. You can also see the market potential grade when we account for all factors, and then also just finding a grade based on the factors minus the federal land and state land and interference zones with their designations. To ensure for a sufficient and good response time within your interface, we advise, as said in the text here, to only turn on one state or a couple states at a time. So in this case, if you wanted to go see what Georgia is, we can now move to the region of Georgia and then see what their regions look like and get a breakdown of the data tied to the market potential. So we go here and then we find Georgia. We turn on Georgia. We find a spot of interest that we are wanting to investigate. After which we can see that there's no loading icon, so it's sufficiently loaded. We can click on a given location. And now we can see the market supply and demand for the given market tied to this specific point and get the breakdown information for this spot in Georgia. As you, again, turn on many layers within your portal, it will slow down the response time. So we advise that whenever you're looking at the grid such as this, you only have 1 to 2 states turned on at the same time. States such as Texas and California are very big, so we advise that only having that one turned on in that one instance if you're looking at one of those regions.